Next, we will start the next chapter, polymorphism. Okay. So, what is the meaning of polymorphism? Polymorphism, this word is formed by two Greek words. Means polymorphism means what? This polymorphism word formed from two Greek words, and these two Greek words are poly and morphos. So these two are the Greek words, and from these Greek words, these two Greek words, this polymorphism words form. Okay. So what is the meaning of these two Greek words then? Poly means what? The meaning of poly means many, and the morphos meaning is forms. Okay. So poly means many and morphos means forms. So polymorphism means many forms. Means we can write the one function in many forms, then that is said to be a polymorphism. Okay. So this polymorphism form from two Greek words, and that two Greek word is said to be a poly and morphos. So poly, the meaning of poly means many and morphos means forms. Fine. So polymorphism can be defined as the process in which various forms of single function can be defined and utilized by different object to perform similar types of operation, and this process of polymorphism like this, the process in which various forms of single function can be defined, means we can define a single function in various form, and that single function can be utilized by different object to perform the same operations. Okay, so we can write the single function in different forms. In many forms, then that process is said to be a polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism means what? We can write a single function in different forms. Then next type is, there are again two types of polymorphism. So polymorphism, there are again two types of polymorphism. First type is compile time polymorphism, and the second type is runtime polymorphism. There are two categories or two types of polymorphism. First one is compile time and the runtime polymorphism. So the example of compile time polymorphism is function overloading. Function overloading, and second type is operator overloading. And the example for runtime polymorphism is the virtual function. Okay, so these are the two types of polymorphism, compile time and the runtime polymorphism. So compile time polymorphism again divided into two types, function overloading and the operator overloading. And the runtime polymorphism is means example of runtime polymorphism is the virtual function. So we have seen the function overloading. What is a function overloading? Yes.
Function having same name.
Yes, the function which having the same name but different arguments. Then such a type of functions we can write the same function in different form, like we can write the same name of the function but their argument must be different. Then such a type of for defining a function is said to be a function overloading, and this function overloading is come under the compile time polymorphism. Okay, now we will see one by one. First one is the compile time polymorphism. This is the first category. So in this first category, we have first example as function overloading. So what is a function overloading means? C++ allows us to define a multiple function with the same name without any problem. Means we can define the same function multiple times without any problem. Define same function multiple times without any problem. Then such a type of definition of the function is said to be a function overloading. Fine. So defining the same function multiple times without any problem, such a type of overloading is said to be a function overloading. Okay. So we know that this practice should not be used frequently because it brings some problem also. And if the rules for overloading will not be used properly, then it will causes the ambiguity in the system. Means system won't be able to decide which function should be called because all the function have the same name. So such a type of error is said to be a ambiguity. Ambiguity means what? System will get confused over there which function he needs to call. Okay, so this concept is not used frequently because it leads some problem. So we have to use the function overloading with some proper rule. मग आपल्याला काही रूल फॉलो करावे लागतील. We have to follow some rule strictly. So what are then that rules? So we will see some rules of function overloading. So we have to follow some rules in function overloading. Then what are the rules? We will see. First rule is function have the same name but they have a different argument. Okay, function can have the same name but different arguments. You have to differentiate the function in type of argument. Okay, so this is the first rule for function overloading. Then the second rule is in case if argument types are same, then function can be differentiated in terms of number of arguments. जर types of arguments are same astil, then you have to differentiate that two functions or many functions in number of argument. If argument are same, then differentiate in number of argument. Okay, जर तुमच्या फंक्शन मध्ये सेम टाइप असतील आर्ग्युमेंटचे, then you have to specify the different number of argument. For example, if I'm having two functions, one is void add. Here my type of arguments are integer and integer, means both types are integer. Then I can differentiate, or I can write the same function add, but here you can specify the same type of argument. Over here integer integer, both types are same, but you have to differentiate in number of arguments. So here I am differentiate these two functions in number of arguments. You can see in first function I'm having two number of arguments, and here I'm having three number of arguments. So all the types of arguments are integer. Here also in second function all the types of arguments are integer, but I can differentiate these two function in number of arguments like this. In first function the number of arguments are 2, in second function the number of arguments are 3. Then this is also valid in C++ or in function overloading. So this is the second rule. Then the third rule is in case if both type and number of arguments are same, then the function can be differentiate by changing the sequence of argument. If, for example, our number of arguments are also same, our type of arguments are also same, then you have to differentiate that functions in sequence of argument. For example, if types and number of arguments are same, then differentiate in sequence of argument. For example, suppose I'm having two functions void add with same name, again void add. In this case, here my first number of first type of argument is integer, second type of argument is float. Similarly, in second function again I'm having first argument as integer and second argument as float. Then in this example you can see in first function I have two number of arguments. The number of arguments are 2. Similarly, in second function, again, I'm having the number of arguments are 2. So we cannot differentiate the same function in number of arguments. Then we have to check the type of argument. So we can see in first function, my type of argument is integer and float. And in second function, my type of arguments are integer and again float. Now you can see here again type of arguments are again same. Here is also same, here is also same. So we cannot differentiate these two functions. So if the types and number of arguments are same, then we have to differentiate this function in sequence of argument. So as we can see, my sequence is for first function as integer float, and my second function is for again integer float. So in second function, we have to differentiate the function, means we have to change the sequence as float and integer. Then you can differentiate this function. Then you can overload the function like this. If your types of arguments and the number of arguments are same, then you have to change its sequence of argument like this. This is for example, okay? So this is the third rule for function overloading. And the last rule is, if none of the above these three rules are satisfied, then the function can't be overloaded. If all these three rules are not satisfied with the function, or any function which are not satisfied all these three rules, then we can't overload this function, any function, okay? If not satisfied all rules, then can't overload function. Okay, so these are the 4 rules of function overloading. So function overloading means what? The function which can be defined with the same name multiple times without any problem, then it is said to be a function overloading. But for defining a function, we have to follow some rules strictly, and those rules are as follows. First rule is, the name of the function must be same, but they have a different types of argument. Different types of argument. Okay, we have to define the same function multiple times, but their argument should be different. This is the first rule. Second rule is, if our argument are the same, then our arguments types are same, then we can differentiate that function in number of argument. So over here I have two functions defined, add, but there you can see here their types are same. Here is integer, here is also all the arguments are integer, but I can differentiate the function in number of arguments. So here the number of arguments are 2, here is 3. Next one is, if the types and the number of arguments are again same, then you can differentiate the function in sequence of argument like this. So here I'm having two function add, number of arguments are same, their type of arguments are also same, one is integer, one is float, but we can change the sequence. One function, first function accept the first argument as integer and second argument as a float, but the second function first accept the float type of argument and secondly he accept the integer type of argument. So we can differentiate the function in sequence of argument. And the last rule is, if the function does not follow any rule, means type of argument, number of arguments and the sequence of argument, then we can't overload that function. So you have to follow this rules for function overloading strictly. Fine. So this is all about the function overloading. Are you getting function overloading? Now we will take one example so that you can understand. Are you getting function overloading?
Yes, ma'am.
आपण हे बघितलंय पण स्टील तो पार्ट आहे पॉलिमॉर्फिझमचा, त्यामुळे आपल्याला बघावं लागेल परत. So now we will take a new program. Function overloading. So firstly include all the files, hash include io stream.h, then hash include conio.h, then void main, in void main clear screen, oh, I can call the add function directly by passing the arguments as 2, 3 Similarly, I can call the function add by passing the argument first is to 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, I can call the function add by passing the argument one is integer and one is float 2.5. Again, I'm passing the argument one is float and one is integer 4.7 and 4.5 and 7. Similarly, I can call the function by passing both the arguments as float 2.5 and 4.5. Okay, and get ch. So you have to define a function. Then my first function is name is add, which accepts two integer value over here. Add 2, 3. 2 and 3 both have the type integer. So integer, suppose x, and integer y. So here I'm going to add these two values x and y in this function, and that value is get stored in some variable. So integer sum is equal to x plus y, and I'm going to display the value of sum slash n sum of x and sum of x and y, sum of x and value is y is equal to, you have to display the value of sum. So this is the one function which does not return anything. Next, second function is add. I have same name, but here the different types of argument and number of arguments and the sequence of arguments are different. So second function is add, which accepts 3 number of arguments and all the arguments must be in integer. So void add, all the arguments are integer. So x, integer y, and integer z. So same, I can take the same code like this. X plus y plus z. Fine. Next, third function is add, which accepts number of arguments as 2. One is integer and second one is float. So you can overload the add function, void add, which accepts number of arguments as 2. One is integer and the second one is float, y. So in this case, again, you can add the two numbers. So here I'm defining float sum because the addition of one integer and one float is always float. That's why I'm taking the data type of sum as float. So x plus y, and over here I'm going to display the sum as /n sum of sum of x and y is sum variable. Then next function overloading, next function is add, which accept first argument as a float and second argument as integer. So here is void add, which accept first argument as float and second argument as integer. Next function is add, which accept both the arguments as float. So we can overload the add function, which accepts both argument as float x, float y, so in this case we can overload the same function add with same name but different types of argument, different number of argument and different sequence of arguments, like this. So always remember one point, we can't overload the function using return type of the function. Means return type फंक्शनच्या रिटर्न टाईपवर आपण फंक्शन ओव्हरलोड करू शकत नाही. जसं की फॉर एक्झाम्पल इथे मी एक फंक्शन डिफाईन केलं ज्याचा रिटर्न टाईप वेगळा आहे, फक्त इंटिजर इंटिजर ॲड आणि दोन नंबर ऑफ आर्ग्युमेंट्स घेतले, इंटिजर आणि इंटिजर वाय. आणि इथे मी काय केलं, एक इंटिजर सम घेतला, त्यामध्ये मी काय केलं, सम इज इक्वल टू एक्स प्लस वाय आणि रिटर्न सम केलं. इथे फक्त इथे बघा हे फंक्शन आणि फर्स्ट फंक्शन याच्यामध्ये डिफरन्स काय आहे, फक्त रिटर्न टाईपचा डिफरन्स आहे. आणि हे फंक्शन यांच्यामध्ये फक्त रिटर्न टाईपचा डिफरन्स आहे. या फर्स्ट फंक्शनचा रिटर्न टाईप आहे void आणि लास्ट फंक्शनचा रिटर्न टाईप आहे इंटिजर. बाकी ॲज इट इज आहे सर्व. ठीक आहे. तर मग आपण बघूया की कंपायलर रिटर्न टाईपमध्ये डिस्टिंग्विश करतोय का, डिफरन्शिएट करतो आहे का ते बघूया. तर मी इथे फंक्शन कॉल करते ते रिटर्न टाईपचं. त्याच्यासाठी मला अजून एक व्हेरिएबल लागेल, सपोज टेम्पररी व्हेरिएबल ॲड, आणि इथे मी व्हॅल्यूज पास करते 8 and 9.